Ready? Let's go. So we're gonna dive right in. This is the center of the circle, and we're just drawing really loose outlines and then starting to fill in some of the shapes for the rest of the piece. And I'm going to speed it up a little bit to show a time lapse of what it looks like to start filling the outline of the trees. Now we're starting to fill in the sunrise in the middle, and then in the corner here are going to be the lanterns that are floating in the sky. Now I'm going to turn the transparency of this layer entirely down and then begin tracing over that for the final line work. This is by far my favorite part. I love doing the line work and trying to get these strong, precise lines that are ultimately going to be the final line work of the piece. And so here I'm doing all of the waves, catching the little flecks of the waves. While I'm drawing this, jamming to music and podcast. It's a blast. All right, let's speed it up and show the rest of the process. The idea is for these ocean waves to seamlessly flow into the trees. So I'm going to start building out the trees over here. Now we're going back over those lanterns in the corner. All right, so here now we're going to fill in the waves with these parallel lines that are meant to show depth and dimension and movement of the waves. Filling that in, starting to create some texture here, and then eventually starting to carry that over and make it into the bark of the tree on the right side of the piece. And when I say this was a blast to draw, I really mean that. This was so much fun. I just lost track of time doing this. I listened to so many albums and so many podcasts making this piece, but this part in particular was probably my very favorite to draw. And now that we got the branches, it is time to add leaves. I'm just doing a little bit of cleanup here, and now that we have the line work, it is time to add some color. We're starting with big swatches of colors just to block out some of the backgrounds and begin filling in the big shapes, and then we'll go in with more detail and start adding shading and light and some of the interesting little pops of color. Here I'm just adding little pops of color to the sky and then painting these long streaking pink clouds and then turning the transparency down so they're very, very subtle. And back to those lanterns in the corner. Okay, now we're starting to add some of the glow from the sun. So some golds, some pinks, some teals and greens, trying to make the water just feel really alive and super vibrant. And zooming in here on some of the plants that are gonna grow out of the tree, adding some base green, and then adding some of the light pops of colors to make the leaves stand out. We're going to zoom up to the top right corner now and start adding in some of these bright pink leaves. First, just by doing a base layer and getting all of the leaves and the colors down, and then going back in and adding some of the gold and the highlights to make the leaves pop. We're going to zoom into this little sailboat that we have down here. We're going to get the wood right and then start adding in some of the colors to get the sails to look right. And then the final step was just some more color touch-ups. So I wanted to add some more green here to the water to make it really seem alive, and adding some more of this kind of magenta purple to the sky, and adding some sun rays here to make the sun really bright and really stand out in the center of the piece. And with that, we are finally done. So this is how the final piece turned out. I'm really, really excited about the way it turned out. And I really appreciate you following along on this journey. Thanks so much.